Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in the last video we saw REST controllers mapping and created crude APIs like post, get, delete and patch API, right? And put API. Okay. So today we'll see how to handle the error response, right? For example, suppose if we are trying to update the record and we are passing the ID as a 382232, okay, but for this ID the employee is not found there in our table. Okay, so it should give a proper error message instead of crashing the application or throwing the 500 internal server error, right? So for that, Spring Boot is providing a default exception object like this. It will return a timestamp, status, error, message and path. Okay, so here we can set the message like employee data not found. Okay, and a specific message for that API or operation. Okay, so this is a default body which is provided by Spring Boot, and also we can customize the uh, error response, like we can give our model class or our key and body. Okay, so here we can add a message description and HTTPS status like conflict. Okay, if suppose if we are trying to add an employee and but the same employee is present in the table, then it should throw employee already exists, and HTTP status will be conflict. Okay, because if there is duplicated records are present, then it will be generate a conflict in future, right? Okay, so let's start for the implementation. Yeah. Okay, so first create one folder which is exception, which is for exception. In that folder we'll create all our exception classes. Okay, so let's check for employee already exist exception. So for that we'll create one more class in the exception file, exception folder, create new file. Let's say already exists exception dot java. Okay, and it will extend to runtime exception in that class members. One will be error code, another will be message. Error code is not required here. Okay, so for that we can define a response status. We can annotate as a response status, and we can give a state HTTP status here. So employee not found will give a HTTP status as a not found. Okay. So it will automatically give an error code for not found, which is a 404. Okay. Now create a getter and setter for a message. First we need to create a constructor. Create a class constructor. Okay, and one parameterized constructor which is for message, and call super method and pass the message string. Okay, okay, now create a getter and setter for only getter is enough for message. So return type will be string get message. Okay, inside message return this for message. Now coming to controller class, in add employee or add employee handler method, just throws an exception, and exception class will be already exist exception, which is we have created this class. Okay, so throws this class exception. Very simple. Yeah. Now, okay. Now let's check for if employees exist or not. So for that, using employee repo find by ID. Okay, find by ID employee dot ID, get ID dot is present, then throw already exist exception and pass the message employee with ID is already present. So new keyword. Make it public. Okay, looks fine. Okay, let's start the application. Go into Postman. Let's check for ID 46452. Okay. Here you can see the error is given. Error not found. Okay, message is not visible yet. Yeah, okay. So for that we need to add one more property. So go in application.properties, just add one more property, server.error dot include message equal to always. Okay, so once you added this property, then message will be shown into the error response. Now restart the application. Yeah, here you can see messages appear now. Employee with ID 42 is already present. Okay. So let's check for ID, different ID. Perfect. The employees created. If I send again with same ID. Okay. Okay, it is created record because our ID is auto incremented and we are not setting ID from the request body, right? So for that we can do one thing. Let's find by name and check with the name if employees exist or not. To find by name, let's declare one find by name method inside the our JPA repository. Okay, so let's set return type as an employee and find by name and give a parameter string name. In controller, let's check if employee is present in table or not. Yes, for that employee report find by name, just pass the name from employee, get name, check if it not equal to null. So not equal to null means there is some record is present, right? Is not equal to null, then show this, throw this exception employee with name get name is already present. Okay, let's restart. Just give name Spring Boot, send, employee created, again send, same name, then it will throws an exception message, employee with name Spring Boot is already present. Okay, so this is a default structure of the Spring Boot, default exception structure of the Spring Boot. Okay, now let's see how to create custom response exception. Okay, so first we need to create one exception class like a Pojo class, and there we can define our required parameters need to show in a error response body, right? For example, here I have declared status code, message, and description. Okay, and then create a constructor and create a getter for the all variables. Okay, status, message, and description. Okay, setter is not required because we are setting value from the constructor itself. Okay, so if you want to set value one by one, then you can add a setter as well. Set code, set message, set description. Okay, okay, coming to our employee controller. Now here we need to create one handler which is for handling the exception that invoke from the our mapping classes, like we have already created post mapping for, and we have thrown the already exist exception. Okay, so let's create exception handler. Let's return response entity. Let's handle already exist exception. Okay, and here we need to pass a exception class. So here we will pass the class that we have created already exception, okay, which is extend runtime exception. Create object exception, and need to annotate as an exception handler. So okay, exception handler which decide when to execute this handler. Okay, so here we need to pass our exception classes. In our case we have already exist exception class, right? So we need to pass this here. Okay, exception dot class. Okay, okay, now let's see. Okay, also let's annotate same as we are annotated here. HTTP response status we can add here for handler level. Okay, let's say conflict or not conflict. Okay. Now create the object of this class error response, call the constructor of that class and set the all values using new keyword error response. My first parameter is a conflict, which means HTTP status dot conflict, then message already exists exception. Okay, and then last one is a description. Okay, so here I'm giving exception dot get message. So this message will be come from the exception where we have set a message. We have overwritten the message of that exception class from this line. Here employee with name employee.get name is already present, so this message will be get here. Now let's return. Okay, return response entity. Okay, Okay, and give a T body. T means a template, so response entity can accept any type of object. So here we are giving our error response class object and with HTTP status conflict. Okay, so sorry, here we need to return new response entity and triangular bracket, and inside bracket we can pass body and HTTP status. Restart the application. Okay, perfect. Here you can see message already exists exception. Description employee with name. Spring Boot is already present. HTTP status is a conflict. Okay, here you can see status code 409. Okay, okay, so here whatever you give getter method name, like let's say I have given get message, so the same will be replicated into the key as a key. Here you can see messages will be key if I give the getter is a message. Okay, let's see, if I change it to get msg, let's see, restart. Okay, here you can see the key name will get replaced to the msg, right? So whatever you give a getter name is will be your key in a camel case, just excluding the get. Okay, so here key name will be msg. Like if I give your get detail, then the key name will be detail. Okay, here you can see key name is details. Okay, let's create one more handler for record not found. Okay, so let's copy the same and okay, so let's create one more class for record not found exception. Record not found, record not found dot java. Let me copy all these things here. Record not found handler method, and this is for already exists. Okay. Handle record not found exception, and here our class will be record not found. Okay, okay, perfect. Our handler is ready. Now let's check for get employee. Or okay, let's say for update employee. Okay. So here, if employee report dot find by id, pass the id dot is present, then do this. Okay, else so new not found exception. Okay, sorry, record not found exception. Message will be employee with id not. Okay, let's check. Restart the application. Let's change to put your update. Second, you can see employee with ID reply 22322 not found. Okay, and if I remove this handler, if I comment this handler and let's restart, here you can see the default response body will be given employee with ID not found, path, error, status, and timestamp. Okay, thank you guys. So this is how we can handle the error response. Okay, so let's try by yourself and let me know in comment if you have any difficulties. Okay, thank you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and press bell icon for next video updates. Okay, bye bye. Have a great day. Happy coding. Enjoy.